Welcome on. Excited to connect today on the idea of identity validation for this week's live event here at Under. Again, my name is Colin. I host a live event here for Under. Typically about once a week, we talk about different things in the data collection, customer onboarding world that we live in every single day. And there was a lot of feedback today on the idea of identity validation. Under does have some identity validation tools embedded in the product. You can easily validate things like phone number, location, all the way down to full signer or business information, including social, date of birth, credit, whatever the case may be. Today, we're taking it a bit more high level, just with the idea of identity validation in general, specifically as it relates to not wasting time for your sales team, right? We have a lot of customers and a lot of people now focus on the SEO, SEM, inbound leads world. And with that, there is a potential outcome where you're wasting the sales team's time by focusing on either fraudulent leads that are not your ICP, whatever the case may be. So what we want to focus on today's live event is identity validation for inbound leads, why it matters, how you can do it, how you even create inbound leads. We really have to talk about how you can generate inbound leads. If you're a brand new payments organization, if you're a brand new wealth management broker, where do you get leads, right? How do you, if you want to get leads from your website, how do you do it between advertising, SEO, SEM? Quickly, just touching base on how we do it at Under and how I've done it through a few different companies in the past. You really have to try a little bit of everything. And most importantly, study the results, right? The SEO world is constantly changing. Again, about 3 months ago, Google completely changed the world of keyword ranking, really leaning into the world of AI snippets and AI answers. So as people that are trying to get found on the internet from an inbound perspective, you have to be up to date on those guidelines from Google and constantly tweaking your strategy to be able to be found on that. At Under, we believe in kind of the idea of consistent, quality, diverse content. What I mean by that is we don't just write blogs. We don't just do 4 blogs a week and hope to be found on the internet that way. What we do is 2 to 3 blogs a week, repurposing 1 to 2 blogs a week, 1 live event like we're doing today. We have a podcast that we roll out. We have LinkedIn, we have X, we have automated emails, we have manual emails. We believe in this idea of diverse touch points and Google recognizing that we are focusing on these specific keywords across these different touch points to be able to rank highly on those. We want to be found for keywords that actually matter, that will get us our ideal customer profiles on our website. So for us, those are things like electronic signature providers, PDF mappers, data collection tools, alternatives to DocuSign, all of these keywords that we want to rank on. We strategically create different types of content for those individual things. So now you actually get people onto your website. Are they converting? Google is going to reward you if people convert. So what are you doing from a call to action perspective to be able to get that visitor not only on your site, but to take an action? Previously, it was as simple as just writing a requested demo or go ahead and call us. We're finding that as people really don't want to be sold anymore, they want to be able to do their research. You have to be able to provide quality call to action buttons to be able to complete that process. These are things like providing ebooks, providing downloadables, providing free trials, something that gets the visitor value as opposed to just requesting a demo and making them talk to your team. These are important things because, again, you have to show Google that the visitors not only are getting to your site, but they're converting on that specific action from that keyword. That's going to help you rank more highly on those things. Of course, there's advertising as well. Each platform is constantly changing, all leaning into AI. Most importantly, there, you want to be able to study your return on your investment, right? If you're going to spend $5,000 a month on LinkedIn ads, what do you need to see from a lead perspective, a conversion perspective, an ARPA perspective for that to be able to be worth your investment? I wanted to bring it up here today as we're talking about creating inbound leads, because that's, going to be one of the ways that you can definitely do it. We had a question from a visitor about tools, right? So obviously Under is a tool that you can collect data on your website, but there are a ton, and you want to just do your research to figure out what is the best use case for you. Almost all CRMs have the ability to have forms embedded on your website or provided for your sales team. So your CRM is a popular option there. On the underside, we use HubSpot. We don't really use the HubSpot forms because we obviously are a form builder, but I know they do have them there and they have great functionality and customization with that. Outside of your CRM, there's all the big brand names that we know. People know DocuSign, people know FormStack, people know JotForm, people know another CRM being Pipedrive is one that a lot of our customers are using these days. So you want to be able to research all the different form builders, all the different e-signature providers, all the different PDF mappers, especially in the financial services world where all that data needs to be mapped onto a PDF instantly or correctly. That's going to be a big thing for most of the people that answered or provided questions for this live event. So you want to just make sure you're researching all the different tools to collect leads on your website. Most important thing there for me when it comes to website in particular is the user experience. You have to be able to provide a way on your website for, if you want to collect that customer information, they need to be able to give it to you, give you their information securely, quickly, on any device at any time on anywhere in the world, really. It's not just here's a one pager of 27 different fields. Your conversion is going to suffer from that, right? So can you use things like conditional logic, custom branding? The world of data collection, the bar is really high now. As a visitor, if I get to a website as just a normal consumer, if I'm buying whatever jacket, if I get to a website and the user experience is poor, I'm probably exiting, right? And so we just have to be able to understand that as business owners and growth marketers, that we have to be able to match that bar. So then the really important thing when it comes to validating leads, right? So we've talked about how you can get leads. We've talked about ways you can actually collect that information. But let's get into the main topic today of validating these leads. And maybe just starting off with the top is it even important? What happens if you just collect a bunch of leads and you don't do anything with those? You just hand them over to your sales team. Ultimately, that is an option, right? If you have a fully built out sales team, or if you're a brand new company and you're trying to just focus on as many leads as possible, maybe that is the path you choose. Maybe you want to get 100 leads a day with a lot of different Yahoo emails, Gmail emails, nothing but a name, a number, and an email. And you can go ahead and wrestle those down. Maybe that's all you need. But as companies scale, what we've found is that there is a lot of lost or wasted time from the sales team with leads that frankly aren't worth the time. Again, whether that's personal emails, not being able to tie that person to a business, not being able to find that person in general. There's the whole world of fraud, which again, we'll do a separate live event for the major trends in the fraudulent space. But if you're just sending 60% fraudulent leads to your sales team, not only are they wasting their time, they're not focusing on the right leads. Their morale is probably going down. And therefore, you're really just not setting them up for success, again, at scale, if your goal is to, really scale your business and grow that revenue. So I personally believe that it's extremely important to validate these leads. How you choose to validate them and where and which process, that's going to be entirely up to you. And we'll get to that in a little bit. But I just think that unqualified leads not only waste salespeople's time, but maybe more importantly is wasting their energy. They're no longer focused on maybe the short list of quality deals in their pipeline now. They're now wasting time with new leads coming down their individual funnel that most of them aren't going to be worth their time. So now the energy's down and ultimately quotas may end up being missed. Performance improvement plans may have to come into play. So I think these are some of the long-term effects of the seemingly small decision at the top of not validating leads, but again, an extremely crucial one to me. On the other side of the fence, we definitely focus on quality over quantity. We have a very clear definition of our ICP, our ideal customer profile. We sell to very specifically financial services industries, specifically payments, factoring, cash advance, and insurance brokers. Those are our main four, but in financial services in general, we sell to operations managers, onboarding specialists, customer support people, and sales directors. Those are generally the titles that we're looking for with companies that have between 1 and 500 employees. We stay in that SMB, maybe mid-market. We're not trying to sell enterprise deals at the moment. We're not going to miscellaneous auto shops because that is not our ICP. We know that people in these financial services industries and these job titles experience these pain points. So we create content, again, diverse content between emails, podcasts, touch points, websites, all the different touch points that I talked about at the top of the event. Those are the things that we're focusing on. And so for us, I would much rather give our sales team 50 quality leads per week of those individual people that I know may be buyers, as opposed to maybe getting 150, but now we have to decipher and waste time on those things again, because for us, quality is over quantity. So then the question becomes how to validate leads, right? And for this, I'll keep it specific to Under because there are other tools out there, but obviously most of you watching this or that had submitted questions are either customers of Under, partners of Under, or in our world one way or another. And so we'll stick to the tools that Under has. And really there are a dozen or two, and it's really up to you on what you want to validate, the customer experience you want to create, and how you want to set this up. So I'll just go through all the different tools that we have and why someone may use them. First and foremost, one of the most popular things that we have is multi-factor authentication. As a consumer, you're very familiar with this. Let's just say you're logging into your Chase Bank mobile app. Once you hit your username and password and hit submit, most likely they're sending you a text. They're validating via Face ID, or they're sending you an email with a code. That is multi-factor authentication. It's a huge way to prevent over 90% of fraud. On the underside of the fence, you have the ability to embed that in any of your forms. A very common example is customers of ours create pre-applications. So they're gathering typically 10 fields from the customer, things like name, number, email, something about the financial services account that they're opening. So in the payments world, it might be volume, it might be industry, it might be products sold. That way, the team that is collecting that information can quickly distill what to do with that customer, what to do with that lead. So when it relates to MFA, that's a huge thing to validate that phone number, because not only are we getting rid of 90% of bad actors with that, we are also just confirming that this person is who they say they are. So even if they provide a Gmail, for example, we can now tie that phone number to them. We can find them on LinkedIn and see, yes, that they are tied to this business. Multi-factor authentication is a huge trend in the industry. Again, as consumers, I'm sure you see it all over the place. Maybe you can get annoyed with it a little bit. I know I have had that experience, but a huge thing, especially in the world of finance, when fraud and security is paramount. Can't recommend MFA enough, and we provide that for you out of the box. Outside of MFA, we have location. So if someone provides the ability for us to look at their location, when they pop up or when they get to an under form on their desktop or on their mobile, they'll get the pop-up that says, hey, XYZ wants to see your location. You can not allow every time or allow on this visit. If they allow every time or on this visit, as a customer of Under, you'll now be able to see where that person is signing from in their customer record. So again, let's say it's a website lead, and it's just someone that had been researching you on your website and wants to connect with your sales team. You can now pull up that customer record and just say, this person is in the state of Virginia, or this person is in the country of India. Whatever your ideal customer profile is, if it matches that location, you can quickly distill this may be worth the time, maybe it's not, and make decisions with that. If you went as far as collecting like personal information, we have a KYC, a know your customer check, embedded in our platform as well. So obviously for underwriters, a KYC is a huge part of the day-to-day, but even from a lead generation or customer generation, we found it to be a beneficial tool on the underside of things. So let's just say, for example, again, in that pre-app world, you may be collecting home address of the person signing or filling out that lead form. Now in the customer record of Under, you can go match that person's name to that address. It'll tell you if it fits, if it's an old address, if it's not found at all. So again, another quick tool that you can just see, hey, is this worth my time? Whether it be for your sales team or for your underwriting team, just quick tools that you can not waste that time, waste that energy that I talked about. And then again, the more long-term effects are, if you're only focusing on quality leads, we have found unequivocally that morale stays higher, productivity stays higher, quotas start being hit, performance improvement plans are generally ignored, or not ignored, but they're not needed quite as often. So these are the things that we see as a long-term effect of quality over quantity leads. At Under, we pride ourselves on giving you the tools that we need. Obviously, if you have any questions and you are an active customer that may not be using these tools right now, feel free to connect with us. Feel free to check out our docs on our website. We have all the different content that you need to be able to go ahead and either set up those things yourself, or again, our support team is more than happy to connect with you and walk you through that process. So just in closing, the idea of identity validation is a huge thing that we focus on at Under. A lot of times we have customers coming in that don't really think about it. And so they'll sign up with us on the idea of a better PDF mapper, a better electronic signature provider, whatever the case may be. They find us with a template for a merchant processing agreement. And then we try to open up their eyes to this world of identity validation, and maybe, and rightfully, especially if it's a new business, they're not even really focused on it. But again, I think it's crucial. I think quality over quantity is more important all day long. I think that not only are you saving time for your sales team or your underwriting team, but you're also helping the morale on the other side of the fence, because ultimately it's going to help you create a better culture as a company if people are productive, if people are hitting numbers, if people are just generally more happy throughout the day-to-day. In a nutshell, you can get higher conversion rates. You'll definitely improve your efficiency from top to bottom between marketing, sales, underwriting, onboarding. Morale is a huge thing. I know I've mentioned that a few times. You're also creating a better customer experience, right? Again, as a visitor on a website, I have a high bar for what I'm expecting. So if I see that you are asking me for MFA, for example, I know that you as a company take your side of the fence seriously, and subconsciously or consciously, maybe I now realize this is a company that I want to do business with. In this live event, I'll provide some case studies, some customer spotlights that we've done. We'll share this on LinkedIn. Can't thank everybody enough for the questions. And again, just generating leads is just the beginning. We'll help you at the other side of the fence. We can help you generate leads as well. But more importantly, we want to make sure that you're doing the things to validate those leads and help your team down the funnel. And for now, that's all I have. I have on identity validation. And I'll see you next time for the next live video. Cheers.